Well, I'm at the airport here in Kuwait waiting for my flight for Bahrain, and I must be honest, this is the worst designed airport I've ever been in. They're doing so much construction. They've taken all the gate numbers down, they've taken the seat numbers down. They have 3 clocks, as you can see. There's a clock up there. They all have wrong times. I guess the batteries have died or the power's out. So there's a bunch of people waiting in here. I think this is my flight, but who the hell knows? So these people are waiting for a flight, obviously. They've tinted the windows so you can't see out. I hope I'm getting on the right plane. What a terrible airport. Welcome to Bahrain. If there's one thing I hate the most with my travels is flying 1 hour. Let me explain. These Gulf countries are incredibly difficult to get around. They kind of hate each other, actually. There's no buses running between the countries. You either rent a car or you fly. It's the only way to get around. So even when I was in Saudi Arabia and I went from Riyadh to Kuwait, it's a 6-hour drive, but there's no way to do it unless you rent a car or you fly. There's no buses. You can do a private taxi if you want, which is 3 times more the cost of the flight from Kuwait to here, Bahrain. Same thing, maybe a 5-hour drive, but nope, I had to fly an hour because there's no transportation on land. Next, after Bahrain, I go to Qatar. Same thing, it looks like you could swim it in 45 minutes. There used to be a ferry boat, there is no ferry boat anymore. And there's no land transportation. You have to fly, which will probably be 45 minutes. So yeah, there's nothing worse than spending a bunch of money on a flight that takes 45 minutes when you can drive it in 5 hours. So all I got in my passport was this piece of paper, this little visa form. Basically, it's just a little piece of paper, like a receipt, and boom, that's it. They don't even stamp the passport. So I actually had to ask a security guard once I exited. I went through my book and I was like, hey, where's my stamp? And I checked somebody, I asked somebody, I said, I think they forgot the stamp. Nope, we don't stamp the passports, only the visa. So okay, so the airport has an advertisement of some upcoming entertainment. Check this out. So at the Al Dana Amphitheater is this guy, Reba Sakur, or you can go see, boom, the Backstreet Boys, May 9th. So there you go, the Backstreet Boys performing in Bahrain. Welcome to the Lagoon Park, a artificial man-made lagoon. If there's one thing these Gulf countries love to do, it's compete with their artificial land. So my host is giving me a small tour with his car and he brought me to this beach. It's not on the map at all, actually. They've just built it. And it's only full of expats, lots of foreigners, because of the condos and the hotels that are going up in the area. But again, this beach just opened up a few weeks ago. And a lot of these places aren't full just yet, but eventually it will be booming. So here is the tiny version of Chinatown here in Bahrain. This is the Dragon Mall. He's giving me a little tour around the mall. This is Chinatown, one mall and no streets. So let's take a tiny tour of Chinatown. It's very strange that these bushes just randomly grow in the water. There are thousands of them, just sitting out here growing in the middle of this lagoon. Welcome to Arad Fortress. Now this is a super old shipping yard. My host is taking me to a secret lookout point. And there is downtown Bahrain. You can tell by the shape of these buildings that I'm still in the Gulf, because they like to compete with the strangest, craziest shaped buildings. Same in Kuwait, same in Abu Dhabi and Dubai. Alright, so my host is explaining to me that this building, as you can see, has wind turbines on the side producing energy to power the building. So my friend and I agree that these are more for show. There's no way these turbines power that whole building. Maybe one elevator. It's super windy today, and my host is taking me to see a private section of the sea, our own little private beach. Behind this wall is the Formula One racetrack. This here is the karting circuit. It's actually the mini go-karts. And this is the coolest looking racetrack, Bahrain International Karting Circuit. Check this out. This here is the National Monument of Bahrain. We just pulled up to the security guard to ask if we could go in, and they're closed today and tomorrow. So we're just doing a slow drive-by shooting. That's what I'm gonna call this. We don't know what's in the main structure. I don't know if it's a museum, but there it is, the National Monument of Bahrain. Rifa Military Museum. Now I know you're gonna think this is funny because these just look like piles of dirt that have been dumped off by a dump truck, but they're actually ancient burial mounds. Along the highway, here's another one of the ancient cemeteries. It just looks like mounds of dirt, but it's actually a burial ground. It's very, very windy, but welcome to Bahrain Fort. There's one thing I noticed in the Gulf countries is how these sheikhs love looking at themselves. They put pictures of themselves on every museum, every wall, every attraction. Welcome to Manama Souk, the old market of Bahrain. Welcome to a brand new area called Bahrain Bay. It's not on my map at all, but apparently it's growing, it's booming. As you can see, they have pedestrian bridges, little water boats, and that is the Four Seasons Hotel. But there's not much labeled on the map because it's brand spanking new. And Four Seasons has their Canadian flag out. Oh, today the windmills are not working. As you can see on the giant building, the turbine fans are not going today. Welcome to one of the busy hotspots called Water Garden City.
The horses are retired. True. So you learned English from school or?
That's the tiniest sightseeing bus I've ever seen. Today I'm exploring alone and on foot, so I have about a 45-minute walk to the bus through some super hot temperatures and dusty, dirty air. Well, as I was walking to the bus, I decided to stick out my thumb, try a little hitchhiking, and boom, I was picked up in under 5 minutes by an Indian guy who actually drove me all the way into the city and dropped me off exactly where I wanted to go. Hitchhiking is pretty easy in the Gulf. There's some very nice people here. Right across the street there is the Grand Palace entrance. Today is 46 degrees with very little wind, so that job must be very hot. And located right beside the Grand Mosque is the National Library. One thing I hate the most here in the Gulf countries is the misuse and waste of money for landscaping. This is all fake grass, little squares that goes for a mile. Really, do we need to waste money on this? It really doesn't even look good. This building here is the National Museum, and the building over here on the left is the National Theater. If there's one thing that all these Gulf countries have in common is the amount of cranes that are downtown. All of these countries and cities are rapidly expanding, building the most ginormous and crazy buildings, and there are cranes everywhere. This mall here is called the Avenues, the same as the massive one in Kuwait City. It is, I'm going to say, a quarter of the size, but it's still pretty darn big. Let's see if it's as cool inside as the one in Kuwait. Well, it is confirmed the largest restaurant in all of these Gulf malls is always the Cheesecake Factory. Well, this mall is a quarter of the size of Kuwait, and it doesn't change themes. It's the same throughout, but it is damn beautiful, that's for sure.